It could be.
It could be.
Right. So we are live now. So welcome again to Arsenal Public TV, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. So doing a live broadcast, but with Raz from The View. So welcome, Raz.
Hey, Alex, all right?
Yeah, yeah, all good, all good. Just kind of recovering from my trip.
How was South America? How's Colombia?
Very, very good. Very, very good. You'll
Seen
probably
the
see the videos that I put out there.
seen the videos. It looked a
Yeah, I
bit of
mean,
a it looked a bit tense watching one of the matches.
uh, well, after the second half, we kind of realised that there was a whole load of stewards kind of lining up, and behind the stewards were the police, the local police. So I think they kind of felt something was going to kick off.
Right.
Yeah, so the atmosphere kind of felt a little bit tense. But it's funny because I didn't want to go to the match. It was just only the people that we were staying with said to me, you know, you need to go because it's going to be like a maybe a once in a lifetime experience. So I thought, you know what, yeah, I better go. So I bought the top, a kind of neutral top, because we didn't want to be seen to be supporting either side.
Yeah.
But yeah, the experience was it was very very good, very
So
very
do you
good.
reckon we should have that kind of atmosphere at the Emirates?
We've got a long way to go because literally when we entered, you could hear the boom, the thumping of the drums,
Right.
and the people singing. So to see that at the Emirates, it would take a long time. I mean, as well, they were like chucking like tape and other bits and pieces. So there's like a safety aspect to that as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because we're so politically correct, you know, in England, I can't see that happening.
No, I
You
think
know, in
I think what we need to do, we need to build more of an atmosphere um, to the Emirates, so to make it like a fortress. So then other teams that come to visit feel intimidated. It's all about the intimidation when you go to these grounds. If you go to like
mm,
Liverpool and you go to Manchester,
well,
you feel
unfortunately,
intimidated because teams there. Whereas because we're all new at our ground, it doesn't seem as if there's doesn't seem as if there's any kind of like history to it. So I think that's the reason why teams when teams come to the Highbury, because it was so it gave that kind of like the pressure can only go one way, and I think that's what we've lost at the
mm,
Emirates. Emirates is a bit like it's a nice stadium, but there's no intensity there at the moment in time
well,
anyway. So
they call it the library, don't they? Because it's very quiet in there. But yeah, yeah. Again, I'm happy, and it seems the video seems to have taken off. There's like just check this morning. It's like 3,200 views, and I've had some people as well making some comments as well. Some most of them positive, something a little bit negative. And one guy was saying to me, "Oh, you know, why did you support Medellin? Now Medellin's a team that was in red and white, of course, red and white. Well, Arsenal. I said to him, well, it's just for that reason because we have Arsenal, which the home colours is red and white. So yeah, yeah, I'm to go again.
Alex,
Um, hello.
Alex, sorry about this. This is a live feed, but the volume seems
Yeah,
to have dropped down a little. Let me see if I can put the volume back up a bit. Okay, just bear me a second. There's going to be a bit of jigging around with the camera, so bear me a second.
yeah. Raz just trying to reposition his camera. Yeah, you okay?
Still low, but I have to probably
Well,
lean
it seems
forward.
okay. It seems all right. So anyway, so what I was saying is, I'm going to be going off again to Central America this time in August, to Costa Rica. So I'm going to be meeting up with some friends out there and going to a couple of matches out there as well. So I seem to be continuing the trend, and as well, I think I said before
I can't hear you.
that there's so much competition. There's so many independent YouTubers covering Arsenal here in England. I thought, you know what? I think maybe the market could be for Arsenal Public TV in Central and South America. But you know what? The channel is just growing. It's very early days. we've got best part of 135 subscribers. So, you know, with the subscribers' help, you're going to help us grow the channel. Okay, so we
Sorry.
heard.
What? Hey, sorry. Once again, the volume's gone down.
Right. Okay. Well, I can hear you clearly, but
yeah, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
I might have to put my headphones in just to double check. Okay, so
All right, I'm gonna put it in now.
bear me a moment longer. Sorry about this, guys. This is technical aspects of our chat.
But there was some Raz is sorting out his
live
audio.
So
let's just say that so yesterday we found out that Arsenal are going to be playing against Atletico Madrid and at home for the first leg, and then RB Salzburg is going to be playing against Marseille. All right, so can you hear us clearly now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Right, okay, that's better. So yeah, Raz, what's your thoughts on that then? That
on the draw,
Atletico Madrid, yeah, the draw.
Okay. Well, we had to meet them at some point. It's unfortunate that we're meeting them before the final. But this is the crazy thing. If we met them earlier, we may have not been as fortunate. I think we're a bit more prepared. And okay, we don't have like a divine right, as it were, to get to the final. The only way you get to the final is you beat the best teams that's around. If you look at RB Salzburg taking out Lazio and the Marseille as well, everyone's scoring goals. Everyone's defending and everyone's scoring goals. So maybe having Atletico Madrid come to us now might be the right time, because we can only go one way, you know. So that's my thoughts on it. I think everybody else is thinking, oh no, typical Friday the 13th. We had to draw. I'd rather we draw RB Salzburg. But if we had them in the final, who's to say that we was going to win the final? You know, I don't want to sound negative, but maybe whoever wins this leg, this round, again, whoever gets to the final, you know, a one-off match, it's in anybody's hands.
But you know, we've got the bogeyman playing against us.
Yeah, we've got Diego.
You know,
yeah.
So...
Well, maybe we should have Mertesacker and Holding in defence then.
You say that, but you know, you never know. You never know. You know, again, you know, Arsenal always have a way. They always have a way of overcoming the most difficult of situations. So it might just be that we might put it out the bag. But as you said before, we had to face, you know, a top team at some stage. You know, so if it wasn't meant to be in the semi-finals, it would be in the finals. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And who's to say that Marseille could get through? You know what I mean? You know, the way it's been playing out, both results were surprises, really. So I like to remain optimistic with a hint of pessimism, which is like, which is, you know, we've gotten as far as we have. Hopefully the right players will start showing up now, because it's something to play for. And you know, what bigger incentive do you need than to get to a Champions League? That's your incentive. Yeah. You know, so you either show up or ship out.
Well, anyway, so we'll see. So the first leg is going to be played on Thursday, the 26th of April. I understand. Yeah. So yeah, let's just wait and see what happens. You know,
what I want to say about this as well, if I can, sorry to interrupt. What I want to say about this as well is that we can't go slow. These are teams that play at a high pace and they play high up. We can't go slow. We go slow. If we concede 2 goals, the tie is done. The tie will be done physically.
I mean, I haven't been checking out too much of Spanish, league football, but I think the reason why Shaka has done quite well is because in the Europa Cup, he's come across teams who don't play, the Premier League way. Rush,
Mm,
quick starts,
mm.
and literally when he's played in those matches, especially against AC Milan, he's had time on the ball. You know what I mean? So I think we might just have a chance. Again, I don't want to, bet the house in it, my life in it. But
No,
we do stand a chance, and I'm kind of surprised we've gotten so far to semi-final. But we'll see what's going to happen anyway. So, what's your prediction anyway? What do you think is going to happen the first leg?
I think they're going to score.
Mm.
I think it's going to be a lot for us to do out there. If they score 1 or 2 goals, I think that mentally, Arsenal heads will drop because they're thinking, well, we've got to go out there and score 2 and 3. And I'm not. Our away form hasn't been too bad in the Europa, but
Mm.
it's like you're looking to see who's going to score. And
Yeah.
Lacazette the other night wasn't really that on song, and it took Welbeck and Ramsey. But predictions, I would say, I like us to win the tie 2-1. They're going to
The
score,
first leg.
but
The
the
first leg.
first
Yeah.
leg, the first leg, I think they're going to score. If we can hold it down defensively, again, see, it's still ifs and buts. And if they score, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard away.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
and we have to score maybe 2 or 3 out there to put the tie beyond them. But again, like, obviously, it depends on how many we allow them. If we give them free reign, they're gonna put the tie beyond us. So at the first leg, 2-1.
Mm.
I'll be happy with that. Um, if we go out there, if we can start quick, then maybe say 2-0
2-0.
out there.
Oh, dearie me.
It's the thing with Arsenal is that you don't know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
You don't know what you're gonna get. If we was really defensively sound, I would say maybe 1-0 at home and 1-0 away.
Mm. But I can say
But they've been scoring goals.
maybe we'll have that in our favour because Atletico Madrid, they don't know which Arsenal is going to turn up.
We are Jekyll and Hyde. We
But
are
Zyko,
Jekyll and Hyde.
ah, dearie me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So
What's your
next one.
predictions then?
Honestly, I can see us because Diego Costa is our boat, and not only Diego Costa, Antonio Griezmann,
Yeah,
Fernando
Griezmann.
Torres.
Yeah,
They're in force. You know what I mean? To
they're
be
goal
reckoned with.
scorers.
And our defense looks so ragged. You know what I mean? The other night.
Mm,
So
mm.
to be honest, I can't see us winning the first leg, Ralph. I'm probably thinking it's probably going to be 2-1 defeat, and maybe with Arsenal to snatch it in the second leg over there.
Okay.
But yeah, the first leg, I can't see us winning
No.
because of the
No.
bogeyman that is,
Yeah.
or the elephant man as they call him, Diego Costa. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to keep them quiet.
um, someone picked up an injury on Thursday,
Our favourite player.
and yeah, Jack Wilshere. I I don't think this guy has been fully fit. I know literally, the contract talks has been going on for such a long time, but when I see Jack play, I just don't see him. He doesn't seem fit.
No.
We know when I see him play, he's always giving the ball away in the wrong places.
Mm.
But overall, I wouldn't take him to the World Cup because he's so injury prone, and he gives the ball away in the wrong places. I think the contract talks is just like
A
a
distraction.
side distraction, but
Yeah.
he hasn't been playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing well. I don't know.
My thoughts are I think it's one of the very few times that the board or whoever is trying to negotiate the contract, and they've put this proposal to him, um, has got it right. Normally, we're very like skeptical of what's going on because we don't know what's going on. Sometimes you hear the players saying, "Oh, they're not going to give me this, and I'm going to start doing that," and or the club will say, "Well, we've offered this, and he's not taking it." There's been like it's like a no-fly zone. There's nothing going on between either fractions. But for the fans, what we're seeing like a unfortunate. Again, I don't want to sound negative. We've seen a slight decline of a really potential good player. He's a good player when he's fit, but he's getting knocks. He's getting barged. He showed his frustration against Southampton last weekend.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I think it does all seem to boil down to what his maybe in his mindset he's thinking, well, what am I doing? I think as a player you want to prove a point, but if you're getting injured a lot, you maybe he's trying to rush it. Maybe he's not allowing himself time to get over his injuries. Maybe the club is saying to him, look, this is the way it is. Either you show us or we're going to keep the contract the way it is. And then, he's on a free. He's on a potential free, isn't he, next season, in the summer?
yeah. But I think Arsenal arrived at a point where they're thinking we are paying him X amount of money, and the majority of the time that he has been injured. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Although he's done quite well because remember he was loaned out to Bournemouth
yeah.
and he he got
But,
injured
yeah, he was injured
and
there.
then he came back and then he got into the England squad and then he pulled out. And as much as it pains me, I think maybe for him it's time. It is time to move on. It's probably time to move on for him. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
there's the question, isn't there? If out of the two, Ramsey could go on a free as well. Ramsey and Wilshere, who you willing to let go? Going
as
on,
of
on
now,
present form.
of course, it would be Ramsey. But overall, it
Mm.
would still be Ramsey. I mean, I know they both had like injury issues, but if I have to take their careers, as a whole rather in sections, I would take Ramsey. He's probably
Yeah.
scored more goals than Ramsey anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll choose Ramsey. And talking about Ramsey, he did quite well. He scored again, didn't it, on Thursday?
He loves a
Seems like the
competition.
yeah, he's like
The
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 Europa Cup.
boyo loves the competition, man. So yeah, he's coming up. He's coming up trumps, and of course, like Wales are not in the World Cup, so maybe he's feeling that he wants to make an impression. And again,
Mm,
there's the balance. There's Wilshere who is trying to get himself into the England squad, and there's Ramsey. Both can go on a free. There's clubs out there who would want those two types of midfielders. Who
mm.
would you pick? It's quite simple. It's a no-brainer.
I mean, at one stage, I thought, yeah, that Ramsey, that Wilshere would be the perfect Arsenal captain, but you can't have someone who's completely, or the majority of the time, or at least half the time, he's injured.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any kind of effect on the match if he's like sidelined. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think Wiltshire. It pains me to say this, but I think yeah, maybe it's
Mm.
time to move on. And I think Arsenal they probably know it, which is why they're probably saying, "Well, no, this is the contract. You
Yeah.
either
This
like
is
it or
it.
you lump it." Yeah. So
Yeah.
time,
But
time,
uh,
time, time to
but as
move
a
on.
player, though, you feel if you love the club, you'd want to prove a point, wouldn't you? Really,
Yeah, but what
wouldn't
can you
you?
do if you're always getting injured?
Yeah, but then if he goes to another club, he's going to get the same thing as well, isn't he? Or maybe not.
Mm,
Is it that? Is it the myth about our players always seem to be injured, and then when they go to another club, they seem to improve?
mm. For example,
Van Persie. Van Persie. He was like pretty much. You can put him and Wilshere almost side by side in terms of
Mm,
injuries. And look what
mm,
happened to him. We sold him to Man United. He won the Premiership. I don't know
mm.
where he is now. To be honest, we'll soon be talking about past players. But
Well, last he
was it
was at
Fenerbahce or
Galatasaray, wasn't it? I think.
Galatasaray? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But going to actually leading on to that, look up the players, the recent ex-Arsenal players that were sold on. Walcott, the Ox, Walcott is at Everton.
Mm.
Gibbs is at WBA. Giroud is at Chelsea. Sanchez, Manchester United. Who else do we have?
Is it
Gabriel and Coquelin
Gabriel?
at Valencia. And
Yeah.
although I haven't been tracking them too much, the news I read about Coquelin and Gabriel is that they've gone on the best form of their career since leaving Arsenal. And I know that Gabriel was quite furious with Wenger because I think Wenger kind of said that he was at fault for some of the performances Arsenal
Mm.
used as a scapegoat. But for me, I would have thought Gabriel would have been the perfect replacement for Mertesacker because
Yeah.
Mertesacker,
Yeah.
he's like this last season. I think he's going to retire after the season, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the natural replacement would have been to have Gabriel, who's a foursome defender. Where is he? He's sold him to flipping Valencia.
But I think he
And
wanted to go,
Coquelin
didn't he? He had enough.
as well. Well, yeah, but he's doing quite well as well
Yeah.
at Valencia. And I read again somewhere that Lucas Perez,
Okay.
even though he's on, I didn't realize he's on loan, isn't he?
He's
Did
on
we sell
loan.
him?
Yeah. We can get him back. But look at Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain now,
Yeah,
two games
I,
away from being in the final,
I mean, well, semi-final, wasn't it? So
semi-final. Sorry, yeah,
would that have happened if he stayed at Arsenal? Of course not.
no, no.
You
He's
know,
he's he's out of everybody there. He's gambled right. He has. Walcott had to go because Walcott just gotten stale, and it's a
yeah.
shame because I liked Walcott when he first came over. Nice youngster for Southampton. Got the speed. I
Mm,
never forget that match we played the second leg against Liverpool, and he was terrorising the midfield and defenders. He was because of his speed, and I thought it was something they could have built on. And now he's at Everton, and Everton are just like a what mid table team, aren't they? So, but
but
you know,
he scored 2 goals, didn't he, in his first match at
yeah, he
Everton?
scored two
But has he
goals.
scored any goals since then?
Not that I'm aware of,
Yeah, and but
but
but I think he
so
seems to be a lot more happier away from the Emirates. So
yeah, until he
but
comes again next
good luck to
season
him.
and might
Good
get a
luck
bit
to
of
him.
stick. Yeah.
Giroud, Giroud.
Chelseaite now, yeah. I think and he,
Is it?
I think he scored a couple of goals, hasn't he, for him?
Did he?
I think I'm sure he's scored maybe a couple of goals. I have to check the stats,
Hmm.
but he's not setting he's not putting up any trees at the moment, is he? I think he's trying to bide his time, and then hopefully we'll get him back.
But you know what? When we bought Giroud, he was never going to be, or he never was like a 25 a goal season striker. You know what I mean? He
No,
was just below that.
no,
For Arsenal to be going or to be taken to another level, he was never going to be that striker. You know what I mean?
no. But he was
Because
a good impact player. He's a good impact player. When
yeah,
he came on, I mean, look at the like FA Cup and other matches that he's come on and we've done with a couple of his goals, especially that back flick that he did. Was it against Watford at home?
I think
Um,
so. I think so.
yeah,
Yeah, the last season he was coming off the bench, innit? Like our plan
Yeah,
B, and he did
impact,
quite well,
impact player.
you know. But for someone who wanted to be playing regularly, knowing fully well that the World Cup was coming up, he couldn't stay at Arsenal. You know what I mean?
No,
But although
no,
he's remained in London, so good luck to him. Good luck
yeah.
to him. You know. So the other thing was, if you were to give Arsenal marks out of 10 for the season, even though we've got 6 more matches to go until the end of the season,
Mm.
what mark would you give them? What mark would you give Arsenal?
Well, when we had this conversation a while back, I said 2. Did I say 2, 2 or 3? I think 3, purely because of like
Yeah.
Brighton, the way that we've been playing, the lack of focus, and I didn't think it was harsh. I think now, because we seem to be getting a bit of momentum, I'll put them up as a 6, just
As high as
above.
6.
Yeah, I'll put them at
Because
6.
we got into the
Well, when you
semi-finals of
think
the Europa
about
Cup.
it, they have pulled out a few results. We're still in the Europa, just about, just about this moment in time. Um, if we've got a few matches coming up now where we can just get the team a bit more settled and
Mm,
still build on momentum and start thinking now. We've got to start thinking now. This is April. Start thinking now about August, September, after the World Cup,
mm,
after all the fracas died down. This is the time now. So any of these the younger players who may get a chance, any of the players who are
mm,
on their contracts or about to be signed up or something, everyone should be looking at them now to say, okay, well, you could fit in to the team for next season. You know what? You're a shop window now. You're either going to stay or you're going to go.
mm.
Um, and don't forget as well that little slight reminder that Arsene Wenger is still thinking about whether he's going to. We all want him to leave, and there may be quite a few fans who want him to stay to on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that'd be a conversation for another time. But we have to start looking at the players now for the season to come, because if they don't shape up now, come the World Cup, we're going to be back to where we were the last 4 or 5 seasons back, unprepared, not losing the first game, under pressure. Manager's going to be things be pointed at him, and the players will be looking at each other saying, "Well, it's not my fault; it's so and so's fault." When
Mm,
really
mm.
they've got to start applying themselves. So this is now. So I give them. It may sound a bit of a high mark, giving them 6 out of 10, because I'm just doing that. I know you agree. I'm just doing that mainly because of the recent performances. We're still, our defense is shocking. Our goalkeeper, okay. The midfield, the only players I've liked so far has been Mkhitaryan's. It's made a good impact. Of course, Lacazette impact, and now he's back. Ramsey's coming up.
Mm.
Welbeck's coming up, and of course, Aubameyang. Aubameyang is,
Okay.
we've got to start feeding him more. And let me tell you something. I put this in the last video. You've seen this as well. We've got Ozil. We've got Ozil, but
Doesn't look like it,
where was he?
Mr.
This is
Anonymous.
this is the, this is the time now for him to start stepping up. He's probably just thinking, right, let me just get to the World Cup, and then I can breeze in.
No, no.
He's you know, and he's signed as well, isn't he? He's signed for a couple more years.
Well,
His
record
contract.
wages as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just before we continue, can I just remind some people saying literally that the chat is not live or it's not active. It's true because we're having some problems with the chat, so no one is able to actually interact with the live feed. But that's something we're going to sort out for the next live broadcast. Can I remind, please subscribe, um, like the video, and if you can do that now. Yep. Okay. So,
Okay.
Raz, can I just say, for me, I know you've given them six as a total performance for the season so far. I would still give them a low mark, and my mark I'm going to give them is going to be a three. Based on that, it's because um, with again the players not performing or not wanting to perform, the matches that we should have won and we lost, and again, Arsene Wenger, literally his lack of knowledge of how to organize and prepare the teams, and it's what's so destroying is that after the post match interview, he would say, "Oh yeah, the players weren't prepared. Oh yeah, we didn't realize how well that the other team." You are supposed to prepare your players for any eventuality. We've both played football, Raz, and we've both played in the defense.
Mm.
Zonal marking has never ever worked. And it's strange that you've got in the number two position, Steve Bold, who was a defender, part of, the famous, back four, back five, or whatever you want to call it. So why is it we still can't sort out the defense? I know people have been saying to me, oh, it's because Wenger's too stubborn-minded, single-minded. He doesn't give Bold any kind of say. Then don't have a number two.
Mm.
Don't have a number two. Just sit on the bench on your jacks. There's no point in having a number two if you're not going to let the guy have any say. So as a totality of the whole season, yeah, okay, we've got Lacazette, we've got Aubameyang, Ramsey's coming to form, Welbeck, Bambi on ice, is coming to form. But as a totality of the whole season so far, it's still not good. It's below average. And Arsenal is a big team. I know people are saying, oh, but the other North London team, I'm not going to mention their name. They've got a new
No.
stadium. They're coming to the prominence, but they haven't won anything yet. They haven't
Mm.
won anything. But so as a totality, I would still give them a low mark, and my mark is going to be a three.
Okay.
There you have it.
I'm forever trying to be forever trying to be. That sounds contradictory in terms. I'm forever trying to be an optimist because I do see potential in the team, and quite rightly, yeah, over the whole season, being 30 plus points away from from challenging as well. Yeah, the low mark should be a three. There's no doubt about it. Um, the manager for as long as we can, as long as when we used to talk about this more regularly then as we do now, saying given stupid excuses about not being prepared and everything else. That's the whole point of being a manager. If your first 8 years were great, then you build on those 8 years. That's the reason why people are still trying to make comparisons between him and Ferguson. There's no comparison in my book. Ferguson won more. If you have to put two of them in the same room and say, right, bring your trophies along, Ferguson's room would be pretty much half full because that's what he's won. And also the players that he brought up as well. Don't forget, he had his youngsters. He had Scholes, he had the Neville brothers, he had Giggs, he had Beckham. You had, from 91 until 1999, I think it was the year 2000. That was a major force.
Wenger, he's been known for.
Sorry, go on.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear. You said
I think we
Wenger
lost
was.
Raz for a second there. Hello, Raz. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I think the connection's gone a little bit awry. yeah, I can, yeah. You were saying about Fergie, literally
Yeah,
comparing Fergie to Arsene Wenger,
yeah.
and the amount of trophies that yeah. Well, I hope that he will be gone by the end of this season. If he does win the Europa Cup, it will be a good way again for him to finally step aside and let somebody else
Yeah.
come into the position of manager. But yeah.
But look at this. Look at this thing now. We're against Atletico Madrid. Who's their manager? Right. So Arsenal's got a point to prove as well, hasn't
You're
he?
connecting the dots. Say again.
Arsenal's got a point to prove as well, hasn't he? If he's the manager that he says that he is, here we are. Here we are. Then prove it. Set the team out to defend at home and prove your point. It's set up there, isn't it? It's all set up there. So we'll see now.
All set up for the fall. All right. So Raz has given Arsenal 6, and I've given them a 3. So yeah, the average is somewhere. What's that? That's 9.
If I was allowed to change my vote, I would put it down to a 5 because it's mid. But with the promises of Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan and the way Welbeck's playing and Ramsey, there's some green shoots. Don't forget we've got the youngsters as well: Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, and Nikita. We've got some youngsters, so hopefully they'll be able to slot in when we got rid of some of the dead wood.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then the next one this Sunday we're playing away from home at Newcastle, and I imagine that Arsene Wenger is going to rest quite a few players.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be jaded. They come all the way from Russia
yeah,
with love. So I'm hoping that he's going to rest quite a few of the players. Fourth spot is out of the question now. We're not going to be relegated, so
no,
I would like to see Arsene Wenger play some of the younger players. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm not sure where Newcastle are in the league. I know the bottom half, but is it an early kickoff? I can't remember for tomorrow.
I'm not certain. I thought it was a late kickoff. I have to double check.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm hoping that he will play some of the the junior players in that match on Sunday.
Give them a run out. I mean, the result really is not really important. The most important thing is to see how these younger players play within the squad and start. Like I said before, this is the time now for us to start looking for next season. Start putting these players in. Give them some hope that the fact that based on their current form, when they start, when they do a good start, it will carry them through and keep them focused for the next season. So play the youngsters, man. Play youngsters.
It's a 1:30 kickoff.
1:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
See. Who's your player of the season so far in Arsenal? For me, I would say Nacho Monreal.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I think when he came in, I think he had a kind of difficult start to the career. I think only because he's trying to get too accustomed to the way that we play in the Premier League. But this guy has been, excuse me, consistently playing ever so well. But the guy, scored important goals for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say, even though he was injured, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think for me, Nacho Monreal is our player of the season.
Yeah.
I think if we had maybe Lacazette or Aubameyang
earlier,
then maybe they would have, picked him. But I think for me, my main man is Nacho Monreal.
But there's to be honest, there's this is going to sound really a bit scathing. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. You can say Ospina. Ospina's kept us in some games.
Yeah, but he hasn't been playing regularly though, has he?
But he hasn't been playing regularly.
Ramsey?
Ramsey, yeah. Ozil, maybe a couple of times. But we're looking at consistency throughout the season, and there hasn't been anyone. Normally, throughout the season, you'll be able to pick maybe about at least maybe 4 or 5 players who've been consistent throughout the year. And our team has been. Is that because we don't have that depth of that strength in depth now?
Mm.
So
for you being natural Monreal.
it is, yeah, natural. Yeah, I circled him. I'd say that definitely he's the man that we need most times. So he has pulled us out of a couple of tight spots as well with his early goals.
Mm. Who's the captain for Arsenal?
Well, we know it's meant to be Koscielny, right? But Alex, like you said before, we both played football, and anybody who plays football, I have to mention this because I live in South Wales at the moment. In London, if you play football, particularly in London, there's a place called Hackney Marshes, and Hackney Marshes is a particular spot where everybody in London knows roughly where it is, and they play. And you get either the really grind teams who will mash you up and win, or you get the flair teams that can play their football on the pitch and play it really nice and tidy. So Hackney Marshes is pretty much like your grounding for football. There may be other places around the UK and around the world, but for us in London, it was always Hackney Marshes. And there was 2 things that we always knew. One, that our goalkeeper will always shout at us because we was in defence. And secondly, we knew who the captain was. And I've captained the team a couple of times, and I'm a person who talk a lot. And if you ask anyone who I played football with, they say that, yeah, Ralph's a good defender, but you heard him as well as you saw him. I don't see that with Koscielny. All I see with Koscielny is that he's a good defender. Unfortunate as it is, because he has had so many injuries to his Achilles. This guy was touted as the best defender in the world. He was touted as the best defender, and I didn't see that, because I can say Vincent Kompany was a good defender. I can say John Terry. I don't like to mention him, but John Terry was a good defender. Only Tony Adams. If you look at the brickwork of how a defender defends, you look at Tony Adams, and you knew when he went on the pitch, you knew he was there, and you knew that he led the line. With Arsenal, we don't have. This is Arsene Wenger saying how we've got a team full of leaders. That's not a team full of leaders. It's a team. It's just a team. It's just a team.
But you know what? Who's the goalkeeping coach is Len Damon, isn't it? So
yeah.
Although I don't like to compare players, but when I looked at Czech on Thursday, and he was getting some difficulty, and he literally the second goal they scored, and he was receiving crosses. I couldn't see any communication with him or Koscielny. There was no communication.
But then, if you saw, well, you saw if you saw the Southampton match when Petr Cech and Mustafi let Long score that goal, Petr Cech was more angry and animated at Mustafi then. Why couldn't he have told him, look, there's a man on you, clear it, instead of like hoping that he would? And Mustafi trying to blame Petr Cech. It was one of the most funniest things I've seen, because Mustafi is meant to be world class as well.
God, yeah. It just beggars belief, And as you said before, we need a clear out. We need a clear out of the players who, the time is done. When Cech was signing for Arsenal, I remember this guy John Terry was saying that, oh, you know what, he'll be a good buy because he will save Arsenal at least 10 points. 10 points. He'll save us 10 points. no. But
Yeah.
I would like to see Ospina, and chip out Czech. Koscielny needs to be sold. I think he's Achilles. We've known has been given trouble, but he's not the most
Mobile.
communicative captain.
Communicative or mobile
He's
of
not. He.
defenders.
I never see him literally trying to organise the players.
No.
I've always said literally I would like to see Xhaka to be captain because he's always there giving the players. I mean, and to a certain extent, you do see Mustafi as well. When there's like a free kick or corner, he's shouting at players to position themselves. But there's no one vocal. The captain's not vocal enough.
No. We
Oh
just need
man.
a shouter. We need someone who can. The good defender. I mean, Van Dijk. Van Dijk would have been a brilliant buy again. Well done, Arsenal board, for letting Liverpool catch him. Van Dijk would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But there
Then
you go.
why
We have
didn't you
to. We
buy
have to
him?
start.
Why
I
didn't
think
you buy
what's
him?
going to happen during the World Cup. You know what happens? The World Cup is like the ultimate shopping experience because then you see your
Yeah.
players come out, and then you go by. You're judging a player's career by 6 or 7 games in the World Cup.
Mm.
That's not the way to go forward, but that's the way the business is working. So you will see which defender will come out from the World Cup, and then with the prices inflated,
Mm. Mm.
we'll probably get somebody who we haven't heard before, who's still on trial somewhere. I don't know.
Mm. Anyway, so we're about to wrap up our live broadcast, and the last thing we need to talk about, I think, Raz, do you want to talk about the competition?
Yeah. Okay, so all our Arsenal Republic TV fans out there, we are running a competition. The first prize is £100 gift Arsenal gift voucher. The second prize is a £50 Arsenal gift voucher, and the third prize is a £20 Arsenal gift voucher. And as you know, fourth gets you nothing at all. So nothing for fourth. So what you need to do, you need to subscribe to our channel, Arsenal Republic TV. You need to like, share, and subscribe, and press the notification button as well, so we can tally you up. And also, the premise of the competition is which 3 ex-Arsenal players would you have in the present team right now? If we can say to you, right, let's go back in time and get these players at their peak to play for Arsenal today, which 3 ex-Arsenal players would you have in the present team? Alex, let me throw it out to you. Which 3 ex-Arsenal players would you have in the current team right now?
On the spot. Oh my days. Um, because we've been talking for the last 5 minutes about a captain who's able to organize the players, realize when there's like danger, um, and because I was a defender when I used to play football, I would have to say Tony Adams. That's one player. At the other end, I would probably say Thierry Henry. And then the third, maybe it could be a midfielder. Um, Patrick Vieira, I would say. Yeah. So Tony Adams in defence, attack Thierry Henry, and in midfield the enforcer Patrick Vieira. What about yourself?
Well, I put down, I would definitely have Tony Adams. We definitely share a commonality with our defence. Tony
Mm.
Adams. I say Dennis Bergkamp because you need that
Oh,
creative midfielder.
mm.
And again, we agreed on Thierry Henry. But then afterwards, I was thinking, hang on a minute now, we need a goalkeeper. So to me, it would have been Seaman. So if I have to go 3, if I'm going to look at the spine, it have to be, and it's obviously at present we can score goals, but to me, it's the goalkeeper and defense that we need to have a hard course to look at. So it seems like I have to change my mind again. So it'd be David Seaman. It had to be Seaman. Seaman. Then I still think I still keep Tony Adams. Still keep Tony Adams. Vieira's a good shout because you want someone who can tackle and who can galvanise the team. Adams and Vieira. If you ever saw the match when we played at home, Arsenal versus Man United, when we beat them 3-2 at home, it was 1997, I think it was 97, 98. He had Adams in defence and he had Vieira in midfield, and Vieira was going for everything. So Vieira's a good shout. But then what about Perez in midfield, creative midfielder? What about Ljungberg? What about Parla? What about what's my man's name now? Yeah, Ljungberg, Perez. Gilberto's good midfielder, good midfielder as well.
But you're right, because if we're looking at the problems we have currently in the team, it is that we have problems in the defense and the goalkeeper as well. I mean, the attack is more or less sorted because we've got Lacazette, Aubameyang, Welbeck to a certain extent. So if I had to look at the ex-players I would have to come into the current team, then you're right. We need the goalkeeper. But I would probably go for Lukic, only because he was
Lukic?
the goalkeeper.
He went to Leeds.
Yeah, but he played in remember the movie?
89. Yeah,
he was the goalkeeper. Yeah, so come on. Seaman's too obvious, man.
Oh,
Seaman's too obvious.
All right, Lanesman, good keeper, invincible.
Any of those goalkeepers are better than Czech.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a defender, the captain to organise the defence. Adams, and I guess I would still stick with Vieira in the midfield because he would score goals and he would do his damn defensive job as well.
But he was an enforcer, but you need a creative midfielder as well. That Bergkamp was, to me, scored 100 goals. 100 goals plus.
Right, the choice is only 3.
I know. We put it out there. We put it out there for the Arsenal Republic fans to say, look, this is not easy. It's not easy. If you want your 3 players in the team right now, who would you pick? So Alex has picked his 3. I've picked my 3. So now it's for you guys to pick your 3, and the best 3, Alex and I will come to blows and sort out which is the winning 3, and then you guys will be notified in about a week's time. We said a week's time, didn't we?
A week's time.
Yeah, about a week's time.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's another I won't say glorious day in South Wales. It's a bit cloudy, but hopefully it'll brighten up. How's the weather in London?
It's a little bit chilly, but a little bit overclouded, but it's not too bad actually. It's, from what I can see, it's a little bit sunny as well. So we're going to be going out just to get some fresh air and stretch my legs. You know, that 12-hour flight from Colombia was a killer. But anyway.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, so you've heard it. Make sure you share, subscribe, and like the channel. And also, if you're going to enter the competition, you must subscribe, like, and tell us which 3 ex-Arsenal players would you like to have in the current Arsenal team. So, Raz, I want to thank you for coming finally.
Technical issues, man. Technical issues. We have to update our software, our hardware.
Absolutely. And I want to say a big thank you to you. When I say you, I mean all the subscribers on the channel.
Yeah.
We're currently standing at 135 or 136. Without you guys, we wouldn't have Arsenal Republic TV giving you the best, post and pre-match.
I say the side armchair advice. We're not all plastic. We are all real. It doesn't matter if you're at home, if you're in South America, if you're in Africa, Australia. Hopefully, we just extend the hands out to all our Arsenal fans. And like Alex says, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'll just make it a bit bigger. Let's have some faces on as well. And just hope that we can get through the next few days without any trauma.
All right. So I think Raz is going to probably do a post-match video on Newcastle versus Arsenal. I'm not sure. Are you going to do one?
We'll do. Yeah, I'll do the post match for Newcastle against
Okay.
Newcastle.
Okay.
That's
All right.
a cert.
So look out for that, and you know that's a wrap. So this has been Arsenal Public TV live for the first time. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in, Raz. Thanks again, and we'll see you pretty
All
soon.
right. Yeah, we'll do, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Peace out.
All right. See you later. All right. Bye.
Yeah.